I'm reading these books, Peter Zion and Ray Dalio, telling me that we are in a position where we are either going into World War III with China or we're going to have a civil war here in the United States, and that the tension in our world is at a new level, and we're going to have a challenge for who the next world superpower is, and then they're trying to take our currency and make us a secondary currency. And I think, my goodness, the government is under a tremendous pressure right now, and they need to know what's going on, and they need to be going to our cyber police force, and we know who that is. That's Palantir. They're the ones who, when we needed to know where Saddam bin Laden was and where we could go to find him and annihilate him, that's who we went to. But wait, I listened to the reports on Palantir's second quarter, and they're saying they're projecting a decrease. Where is Palantir when we need them? What's going on here?
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
Where is Palantir when we need them? What's going on here? Yes, I flip-flopped on Palantir. I had done 13 videos on Palantir indicating that I thought they were the best thing since sliced bread and that they were going to protect us. They were going to be our cyber police force. And when we got into a position, we needed to know what was going on in the world, whether it was here in the United States or anywhere in the world. They were who our government was going to go to. They were who any company who wanted to manage massive amounts of data needed to go to because of their software. And so I was a holder of Palantir, and I had about 20 grand invested in Palantir. And then I listened last week to their second quarter earnings report and their projections for the future, and they were scaling down. They were saying that they were having difficulty getting governmental contracts and getting the government to commit. And I said to myself, how can that be? Our government right now is under more pressure for potential World War III, whether it be from Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping over Taiwan, than ever before. As I said in a video I did last week that some of you did not react quite well to, that we have more pressure than I can remember, and I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, and I remember the duck and cover of the Soviet Union saying they were going to destroy us. And then things cleared up as we went in, as the wall came down in Germany, and the world trade expanded, and everything kind of cooled down. Other than we got involved with some people who blew up our World Trade Center, and we then turned to this small company called Palantir, and they were the ones who we asked, or the government asked, go find us a Saddam bin Laden so that we can bring this down. And in fact, that's what they did. And in fact, the government and the military used Palantir to find the radicals, and we flew our drones over and blew them up. And so the government became dependent on Palantir. And so, yeah, I was a big proponent. I want to own that stock. I don't care if you do, but I want to, because the government will be dependent on this. And the more uncertainty that's in the world, the more they're going to need them. And now we're having a situation where now we're talking about we could have another civil war, and that we need to know what these different factions that could create a civil war here in the United States. We need to know what's going on. And I again doubled down on my Palantir, bought some at $8 a share, and I'm saying this is genius. This is going to go. In fact, I said this is going to go from $8 to $800, and some of you have called me out on that. Yes, I did do that. But then I hear from Alex Karp that the government is backing off. They are not initiating the contracts that they thought they were going to. Well, why would that be? Is there a better mousetrap out there? There must be, because certainly our government, you can't convince me that our government is saying, oh, we aren't worried about this. We aren't worried about the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol building. That's not a concern. We don't care what these people are doing. We don't need anybody to monitor their Facebook pages and their texts and things of that. We don't need to be concerned. Well, hell yes, we do. And I've got to believe that the government agencies, the FBI, the CIA, are saying, yeah, we need to do that. And Palantir, but somebody has come up with a better mousetrap. That has to. You can't convince me that the government isn't issuing those contracts to someone. What you can convince me of is they're not issuing them to Palantir. Maybe they're going to Snowflake. Maybe they're going to somewhere else, but they're not going to Palantir. And how do I know that? Alex Karp told me so. Go to Seeking Alpha. I showed you in this other video, exactly where you can listen to every word he says. And don't read it. Listen to it. Because you see you hear in his voice. He's pissed off. These people don't like us. Now, wait a second. But they'll come back. This sounds like a little crybaby in junior high school that, she said she wouldn't go out with me again. But she'll come back. No, she won't. You did something to offend her. You misbehaved. And you didn't deliver on what you said you would, Alex. And that's why the government's coming back. You cannot convince me that they're not spending the money somewhere. And if you do convince me of that, then we're in real trouble. Because we need to know what's going on in China relative to Taiwan. We need to know what's going on in Russia relative to the Ukraine and then Poland and wherever else. We need to know whether Russia's going to turn off the oil to go to Germany this winter. We need to know these things, and we need to know how we should react. We need to know where their vulnerabilities are, where we can strike to make this. This is just common sense. So Palantir's price. He should have given his earnings this, and Palantir's price should have doubled in a matter of minutes, because he should be saying the government is doubling down, they're tripling down, they're quadrupling down on the demand for our services, and everybody else will. We are at the verge right now of becoming a secondary power, either because of World War III, or more than likely because of the Second Civil War. Now, why do I say that? There is no winners in a World War III. Neither China nor Russia want to go to war with the United States in World War III, because the consequences could be the annihilation of humankind. So nobody wants that. But I would ask you, is there anybody who wants a civil war here in the United States? And the answer to that question is yes. And until we recognize we have an issue, and the issue is not Donald Trump. He is the voice of the other side. And if we don't listen to his voice, we will have a civil war. Donald is not the problem. Donald is the voice of the problem. And we as a civilization, we as a population, and we as a legislators have to say the consequences are not good. And we have to settle this and come to that conclusion. Put the information together and say, what is the solution? not what is the problem. By going and demoralizing Donald, by going into his home and gathering the boxes, and when, as he said, all you had to do was ask for them and I would give them back. No, you went after him. And as a result, you pissed off 55% or 50% of the population in this country, and you created the situation that could result in a civil war. Understand that. Now, whether it's Palantir that brings you to that understanding, or Snowflake, or some other, I don't know. But don't beat up on me because I flip-flopped on Palantir. I will flip-flop on Amazon if I see that the world has said, no, Amazon, we're not going to buy our books and our music and our ink cartridges from you anymore. We're going to buy them from Alibaba. If I see that, I guarantee you I will flip-flop on Amazon. I will flip-flop on Google. I am not stupid. I recognize when the customer, the U.S. government, says to Palantir, we no longer want your product, I've got to get out. If I don't, I'm just damn stupid or belligerent or ignorant. So, yes, I sold my Palantir, and I do it again, and I probably will flip-flop on you again. But what I will guarantee you is I will be paying attention to what's going on around me. And I will read all these books so that I understand what's happening in my world, and I will interpret it on a moment's notice. So, to those of you who are in the channel of, I need to wait and see what happens, good luck to you, because the handwriting's on the wall. The government has told him. Alex told you that. The government is not fulfilling the contracts that they had said they were going to initiate with us, and it's because they're slow. No, it is not. We are in a point in our civilization where everything is in the balance. And what the government does next is critical. And you cannot convince me that they didn't create another police force who is watching Vladimir and his group, Xi Jinping and his group, and the two groups here in the United States that are about to go at each other's throats and create the second civil war. If you don't believe that, if you don't understand that, then you just hang on to Palantir, because they're going down. It's a one and done. All right. That's what I'm all about. If this is what you like, and some of you don't because you're canceling your subscriptions based on my last video on Palantir, come join me. I have a tribe, a community, a best of us investors. We want to bring together each other's minds to make good investment decisions. And to hang on to Palantir right now, I do not believe is a good investment decision. And I'm not going to tell you. And I've watched other people's videos who are saying, oh, this is just a bump in the road. They haven't been around. They have not seen the threat of a war. They don't even remember the planes going into the towers. So don't tell me that I'm a flip-flopper. I am. Go ahead, tell me I'm a flip-flopper. But I'm also someone who makes good investment decisions. And to own Palantir, I don't believe is a good investment decision. All right, I'll talk to you about something not so emotional tomorrow.